There is a unique and perplexing pain that only those on the path of self-improvement can understand. It is not the pain of discipline. It is not the burn of a workout or the strain of deep study. It is a pain far more subtle and far more confusing. It is the pain of seeing a look of disapproval from a person you love, precisely at the moment you begin to love yourself. It is the sting of a sarcastic comment from a friend, just as you start to take your life seriously. It is the sudden cold distance from your family at the exact time you begin to build your own inner home. You decided to change. You chose to evolve. You started waking up earlier, reading more, speaking less, and working in silence. You began to build something within you, something solid, something real. And for this, you are met with resistance, with suspicion, with a quiet, unnerving hostility. You are left wondering, am I doing something wrong? Have I become arrogant? Am I betraying them by choosing myself? Let me be clear. What you are feeling is not a punishment. It is not a condemnation. It is not a condemnation. It is a signal. It is the most powerful and reliable sign that your transformation is not just real, but that it is so potent, it is changing the very fabric of the world around you. What you are experiencing is a law of nature, as real as gravity. It is the law of social homeostasis. Every group, your family, your circle of friends, your workplace, is a system. And the primary goal of any system is to maintain its own balance, to keep things as they are. This balance depends on each part playing its predictable role. For years, you played your role. Perhaps you were the listener, the entertainer, a helper, the one who always said yes. You were a known quantity. Your energy, your habits, your responses, they were all part of the established equilibrium. The system was comfortable because it knew you. But now, you are changing. You are no longer a predictable part in their system. You are becoming a system unto yourself. Your silence disrupts their noise. Your discipline highlights their lack of it. Your newfound focus on your goals means your energy is no longer freely available to fuel their dramas or validate their complaints. You have not declared war on them. You have simply stopped funding a war against yourself. And the system panics. Their reaction, the jokes, the concern, the accusations that you've changed is not personal hatred. It is the system's immune response. It is a desperate instinctual attempt to pull you back into your old role to restore the comfortable, predictable balance. They are not hating you. They are hating the disturbance you represent. They are seeing a mirror in your actions, and they do not like the reflection of their own inertia. When you understand this, everything changes. You cease to be a victim of their judgment, and you become an observer of a natural phenomenon. Their resistance is no longer a source of pain, but a source of data. It is the feedback that confirms your growth. It is the friction that proves you are moving forward. Every skeptical comment, every cold shoulder, is a spark flying off the rails, proving the train of your transformation is finally gaining speed. So when they question your new path, do not rush to defend it. When they criticize your silence, do not fill it with panicked explanations. Simply observe, acknowledge the signal, and know that the peace they are trying to disturb is the very peace you are fighting to create. Their confusion is the price of your clarity. Their discomfort is the evidence of your growth. You are not leaving them behind. You are simply moving forward. And you are discovering that the path to your true self is often a path you must, for a time, walk alone. To see this resistance as a signal is the first step. The next is to understand its anatomy. Because this hate is not a monolithic force. It is a spectrum of reactions, each with its own signature, its own motive, and its own unique weakness once you shine a light on it. When you can identify the specific type of resistance you are facing, you take back your power. It ceases to be a confusing emotional assault and becomes a predictable pattern. You are no longer in a storm, you are the scientist studying it. This resistance typically manifests in three primary forms, three archetypes of opposition. Learn to recognize them and you will become immune to their poison. First, and perhaps the most insidious, is the concerned controller. This is the resistance that comes disguised as love. It doesn't sound like hate, it sounds like care. It uses the language of affection to sow seeds of doubt. You will hear phrases like, "I'm just worried about you. You seem so distant lately." Or, "Is everything okay? You've changed so much." or don't work too hard, remember to have some fun. On the surface, these words seem harmless, even loving. But feel the energy behind them. They are not questions seeking to understand your new world, they are invitations to return to the old one. They are subtle requests for you to justify your own evolution. The concerned controller operates from a place of fear. Your new path is unknown to them, and therefore it is unsafe. Your self-sufficiency threatens their role as a caretaker, a confidant, or an influencer in your life. By framing their fear as concern for you, they attempt to make you feel guilty for your own growth. They want you to second-guess your journey, to slow down, to come back into the fold where they can understand and therefore control you. To disarm this, you do not argue, you do not defend. You simply offer calm reassurance that does not give away your power. Simple, "I appreciate your concern, I am feeling better than ever," is a complete response. It is a gentle but firm closing of the door. Second archetype is more direct, and therefore less confusing. This is the saboteur. Saboteur does not hide behind the mask of concern. Their resistance is a direct attack, fueled by their own deep-seated insecurity. Saban, this is the voice of Indi. You will hear, "So you think you're better than us now?" Or, "Don't forget where you came from." Or they will mock your new habits, your books, your diet, your discipline. Understand this clearly. Their attack has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. Your growth is a blinding mirror held up to their own stagnation. Your discipline is a painful reminder of their own excuses. They cannot bear the light of that reflection. So to protect their own fragile ego, they must try to extinguish your light. If they can pull you back down to their level, if they can make you doubt yourself and quit, then they are relieved of the responsibility of having to change themselves. Their mockery is a desperate attempt to maintain their own comfort. The power of the saboteur is entirely dependent on your reaction. If you get angry, if you defend yourself, you have fallen into their trap. You have validated their attack by giving it your energy. The correct response is no response. Your silence is the ultimate weapon. It communicates that their opinion is irrelevant to your path. Your continued progress is the only answer they will ever need. Finally, the third archetype. This one is silent, but just as significant. This is the ghost. The ghost does not attack you. They do not express concern. They simply disappear. These are the friends who stop calling it. The connections that fade into nothing. This is the social circle that slowly recedes as you advance on your path. This can be painful. It can feel like abandonment. But you must reframe. It is not abandonment. It is a realignment. The ghost is the person who was connected to you, not because of who you are, but because of the function you served. You were the entertainer. You were the source of gossip. You were the easy validation. You were the reliable distraction. Now that you are focused, silent, and building, your energy is no longer available for those purposes. You are no longer serving that function. And so, the connection, which was based on that function, naturally dissolves. Their disappearance is not a rejection of you. It is a sign that the foundation of the relationship was hollow. Their departure is not a loss. It is the universe clearing space. It is making room for new people, new connections that will be aligned with the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. Controller, saboteur, ghosts. Once you see them, you can no longer unsee them. And you realize that all this hate, all this resistance, is just the noise of an old world dying, making way for a new one to be born. You now see the faces of resistance. The controller, the saboteur, the ghost. But to be truly free, you must look beyond the actors and understand the stage itself. You must understand the very nature of the force they are reacting to. You must understand the physics of your silence. We are taught to think of silence as an absence, a void. We are taught to think of silence as an absence, a void. A lack of sound, a lack of words. This is a profound misinterpretation. Your new silence is not empty. It is the most densely filled space you have ever created. It is filled with the energy you are no longer leaking. It is filled with the focus you are no longer scattering. It is filled with the power you are no longer handing over to others. Think of it this way. For years your energy was a public utility. It flowed outwards, uncontrollably. It powered their conversations. It validated their narratives. It soothed their insecurities, it fueled their dramas. You were a power station for the entire village, and in return your own home was left in darkness. When you chose the path of silence and self-development, you did not launch an attack. You simply cut the external power lines. You redirected the electricity back to its source. Their hate, their resistance, their frantic attempts to reconnect with you are the symptoms of an energy crisis. They are experiencing withdrawal, not from you as a person, but from the effortless supply of your energy they had grown accustomed to. They are not angry at your strength. They are panicking at the loss of their subsidy. This understanding is the key to your liberation. Their reaction is not a reflection of your character. It is a confession of their dependence. That this is only half of the equation. You have not just stopped the outflow, you have created a new kind of inflow. As you redirect your energy inward, you begin to build something. You are building what can be described as internal mass. Your focus, your discipline, your self-awareness, these are not abstract concepts. They have weight. They have substance. You are forging a dense, solid core at the center of your being. And in physics, what does mass create? It creates a gravitational field. This is the second, more powerful effect of your silence. You are not just becoming quieter. You are becoming heavier in an energetic sense. You are becoming a center of gravity. In your past, you were likely a small moon, caught in the chaotic gravitational pull of other people's needs, dramas, and opinions. Your orbit was determined by them. Now, as you build your internal mass, you are becoming a planet. Your own gravitational field begins to assert itself. It doesn't aggressively push anyone away. It simply exists, and its presence naturally and powerfully reorders the system around you. The weaker, chaotic objects in your old orbit are thrown into disarray. They wobble. They are either forced into a new, more respectful orbit around your new center, or they are flung out of your system altogether. Their frantic resistance is the death rattle of their gravitational dominance over you. This is why your silence is so threatening. It's not because you are quiet. It is because your silence is the sound of a new world being formed. It is the hum of a new power source coming online. It is the undeniable evidence that you are no longer a satellite to their world, but the center of your own. You are not being passive. You are not hiding. But with every hour you spend in focused work, with every conversation you refuse to be drawn into, with every moment you choose to observe rather than react, you are adding mass to your core. You are strengthening your gravitational. Do not be afraid of this power. It is your birthright. The old world was held together by the flimsy threads of leaked energy and shared anxieties. The new world you are building is held together by the unbreakable laws of focus, integrity, and self-generated power. Let them call it hate. You will know it for what it truly is, the universe rearranging itself around your newfound sun. You understand the signal. You understand the physics. You see their resistance not as hate, but as a reaction to a fundamental shift in the energy of your shared universe. This knowledge is your map, but a map is not the territory. To walk this path, you need more than understanding. You need tools. You need a practice. You need to forge a core within yourself so solid, so dense that the storms of others' opinions can never move you. This forging happens through the practice of one master skill, the art of neutral observation. This art is the ability to witness an event, a sarcastic comment, a passive-aggressive question, a cold shoulder, and not immediately be consumed by the emotion it is designed to provoke. It is the space between the stimulus and your response, and in that space lies your freedom. When you are met with resistance, your old programming will scream for you to react, to defend, to justify, to argue, to crumble. Neutral observation is the act of silencing that scream and choosing a different response. Here is how you practice it. The next time you receive a negative reaction because of your growth, you will perform a simple internal action. Instead of letting the feeling of hurt or anger wash over you, you will take a mental step back, and you will say one word to yourself: better. That's it. Data. The brain who mocks your discipline? That's not an insult. It is data confirming his own insecurity. The family member who expresses concern? That's not an attack. It is data confirming that your new independence is disrupting the old system. The person who disappears, that is not abandonment. It is data confirming the relationship was conditional. This simple reframing is profoundly powerful. It instantly transforms you from the victim of an attack into the scientist of an experiment. Pain becomes proof, insults become information. You are no longer the target, you are the researcher, gathering evidence that your hypothesis that self-improvement creates external resistance is correct. The more resistance you encounter, the more data you collect, and the more certain you become that your path is the right one. But to access this state of neutral observation, especially when emotions are high, you need an anchor. You need a way to create that crucial space for thought. Your anchor can be anything you choose, but it must be simple and immediate. It can be a physical gesture, the subtle pressing of your thumb against your index finger. Or it can be a silent word you repeat to yourself, center. Or it can be a single conscious breath, a slow inhale, a deliberate exhale. You must practice this anchor when you are calm, so it becomes second nature. Then, when the moment of conflict arrives, your anchor is your emergency brake. The moment you feel the emotional hook, you deploy your anchor. You press your fingers. You think the word. You take the breath. This act creates a circuit breaker. It stops the raw emotional electricity from overwhelming you and gives your conscious mind the 1 second it needs to say, data, instead of lashing out. This practice, however, brings up the deepest challenge of all, the feeling of guilt. The feeling that by not reacting, by not engaging, by choosing your own peace over their drama, you are being disloyal. This requires the final tool of the forge. You must redefine loyalty. For most of your life, you have been taught a flawed definition of loyalty. You were taught that loyalty means keeping the peace. It means not making waves. It means prioritizing the comfort of the group over the calling of your own soul. This is loyalty to the system, loyalty to the past. You must now adopt a higher loyalty, a more profound loyalty. Your new loyalty is to the future version of yourself, the one you are sacrificing and working for, the one who is waiting for you at the end of this difficult path. Your new loyalty is to the promises you made to yourself in your quietest moments. Your new loyalty is to your potential. Is it disloyal to refuse to betray your own future? Is it selfish to honor the contract you've signed with your own soul? The highest form of loyalty is not to keep others comfortable in their stagnation. It is to become the person you were born to be. The paradox is that by embodying this higher loyalty, you will eventually be of greater service to the world than you ever could have been by playing small. But first, you must be loyal to the build. Neutral observation is your shield, the anchor is your brake, and this new higher loyalty is your fuel. With these tools, you do not just endure the resistance. You use it, you metabolize it. Every act of opposition you face becomes another piece of charcoal for the fire, making the core within you harder, denser, and more brilliantly unshakable. You have learned to see the resistance. You have learned to understand it. You have forged the tools to withstand it. Now you must understand its ultimate purpose. This sustained opposition, this hate, this friction from the world around you, at first it is data. It is proof you. But if you stay on the path, if you remain loyal to your future self, it transforms into something more. It becomes the signal. It is no longer just a sign that you are moving. It is the definitive, irreversible sign that you have arrived at a new place. It is the signal that you have successfully crossed the threshold and the bridge back to your old self has been burned away. It is not a warning to turn back. It is the celebratory firework announcing your arrival in a new world. When the resistance no longer feels like a series of isolated acts, but like a constant low-humming pressure from your old environment, congratulations. You have succeeded. You have generated so much internal mass, so much gravitational force, that your very presence is a permanent challenge to the old order. This is the point where fear must be transmuted into exhilaration, because on the other side of this signal lies the reward. On the other side lies the new world you have been silently building. What does this new world look like? First, you will notice new people beginning to enter your orbit. 1. As your old connections, the ghosts faded away, they left a vacuum. The universe abhors a vacuum. Your new, powerful, focused frequency begins to act like a beacon, a lighthouse attracting other ships that are navigating with the same intention. You will start to meet people who are not drained by your discipline but inspired by it. They are not threatened by your silence but respectful of it because they too are cultivating their own. These are not relationships based on neediness or shared complaints. They are relationships based on mutual respect, aligned ambition, and a shared devotion to growth. Second, new opportunities will begin to manifest, seemingly out of nowhere. The universe rewards clarity. When your energy was scattered, you were sending out 1,000 different weak signals. Now, your focus has turned your energy into a single powerful, coherent laser beam. This clarity of purpose is magnetic. The projects, the ideas, the chances you once had to chase frantically will now begin to find their way to you. You are no longer hunting. You are attracted. Your silence has made your actions so loud that the world cannot help but take notice and respond. Finally, and most importantly, you will discover a new inner state. T-break, you will find a profound and unshakable peace, a quiet confidence that does not need applause because it is forged in the fire of real, tangible accomplishment. The silence that was once a tool of discipline will become your natural habitat. It will be your source of strength, your place of rest, your inner sanctuary. You will no longer need the world to be quiet for you to feel at peace. You will carry the peace within you, an unshakable core in the midst of any storm. This is what you have been working for. This is the prize. Not the money, not the success, not the accolades, though those may come. The true prize is this state of sovereign peace, freedom, the freedom of knowing that your worth is generated internally, the liberation of no longer needing anyone's permission to be who you are. The journey is not easy. It demands that you walk through the fire of others' judgment. It demands that you choose loyalty to a future you cannot yet see over the comfort of a past you know all too well. But the signal is the promise. It is the confirmation from the universe that your efforts are registered, that your new world is taking form. And so now, a final choice. Not for me, but for you. A choice to consciously acknowledge this path. The comment section below is not for debate. It is for declaration. It is a gathering place for those who have seen the signal, for those who are seeing it now, and for those who are committing to walk the path until they do. It is time to make your commitment known, to yourself and to the others on this path. Write this statement to claim your journey. But raise the signal. This is your acknowledgement, your graduation, your acceptance of the path and its price, in full knowledge of its ultimate prize. It is your final act of transforming their resistance from a source of pain into your ultimate source of power. Stop fearing the friction. Stop dreading the disapproval. Start looking for the signal. It is the light guiding you home.